All right, good afternoon and greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, it's just before 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I get the Detroit Lions coordinators are taking to the stage right now, or at least a couple minutes ago, but I wanted to get this over to you while I could because I do have to get back to work. Lions, Bucks, a lot of good things starting to go the Lions' way. One of the biggest ones out there, as you can probably tell for the thumbnails, guess who's back on the practice field and taking part with the team? That would be Terion Arnold. A lot of Lions fans have for about a year now kind of thrown a little shade his way. Said, hey, maybe this guy isn't so great. Maybe he hasn't performed up to expectations of a first-round pick. With that being said, towards the end of the Cincinnati Bengals game, I'm sure you guys can see with your own eye, late in the third quarter, Terion Arnold leaves the game, and you know what? That Bengals offense kind of came alive, especially in that fourth quarter. Last week against the Kansas City Chiefs, I think most would agree, whether it's just because Calvin Shepard didn't feel like we could play man-to-man or whatever it may be, without him out there, without Terion Arnold out there, a lot of things from a schematic standpoint changed exponentially. Lions had one of their worst performances as far as defending the pass out there. Maybe in a game that some are starting to speculate is a big game for not only the Bucks, but also for the Detroit Lions. Monday Night Football, maybe the door has been opened up a little bit more for Terion Arnold to return. From a coaching standpoint, here's what I would say. If the medical staff clears him to play, I would put him out there. Why is that? You're shorthanded to begin with, and if you have Meek Robertson plus Terion Arnold out there, you probably can go back to playing a little bit more to man-to-man. We get Brian Branch isn't going to be out there. We get Reed's not going to be out there. Those guys aren't playing this game. But this is a big game for the Detroit Lions. As you're all definitely aware, after Monday Night Football, you've got 13 days to your next game. Terion Arnold, if that injury with the shoulder isn't so severe, maybe you get him through this game, and then you give him, 13 days off from physical contact until we return to play against the Minnesota Vikings. Some other further good news for the Detroit Lions, Taylor Decker was spotted out there on the practice field. Now, I've got this from multiple different sources. One of them is my brother Tim was giving it to me. Hutch Jr., you guys know him. He's been on the show a ton of times. He was out there, and so you have corroborating reports about what all is going on in Detroit Lions practice. Arnold, like I said, back out there. Decker out there. Kirby Joseph, we'll have to see if he can play. If you can get Kirby Joseph out there, if you can get Terion Arnold out there, and Meek Robertson, you probably start feeling pretty good about this Lions secondary. Taylor Decker, if he is able to go, that offensive line is back to full strength. Not that Dan Skipper didn't perform well in Kansas City, but I think we would all agree you probably have another level of confidence in him. From a coaching perspective, again, you're going to be able to give him a couple weeks off. We'll see what shakes out between that. We'll try to get some other news regarding some situations. I'm waiting for further confirmation before we go on air with some of the other stuff, but it looks like the Lions might possibly have one other injured player making a return. We'll have to see if that holds water. I have not got confirmation about this. Dude Crew, let me ask you, what would you do with TA? What would you do with Decker? I can get both the validity for keeping him sat this week against Tampa Bay or playing him. In the NFL, I think the margin between making the playoffs this year, winning the NFC North, are going to be razor thin. I think it's going to be really a league of haves and have-nots in the NFC, and I don't think the Lions want to risk throwing away a game at home that they potentially win, especially against the number one seed Bucks, currently number one seed. Now, to understand, we're not even halfway through the season, but you know what? You don't want to look back the last 2 or 3 weeks and say, I wish I would have done this instead of that. All right, Duke Crew, let's get over to you guys real quick, and then I got to get back to work. Doug, glad he is healing up, but shouldn't the team sit him this game to fully heal? That would be the million-dollar question, right, Doug? What does the training staff say? Maybe he has healed up enough where, you know what? You can probably get through this game. You got, basically 13 days to recover a little bit more before the next game. I guess it just comes down to your prerogative with it, right? Steve, Terion Arnold proved his level of play once he was gone. One thing I would always say as a coach, sometimes you don't know what you got. We all know the saying, until it's gone. A lot of Lions fans prior to the injury did kind of throw Terion Arnold under the bus a little bit. Not everybody, but there was a percentage of them for sure. Once he was gone, we all started saying, man, it sure looks a whole lot different out here. maybe the next guy on the bench isn't better than the guy the coaches put on the field. Decker back also, says Virgil. It does sound like that, although limited, but he is back on the practice field, something he hasn't done in a long time. Bo, any good news is great news at this point. I'll go with that. I probably won't make the live stream, so here's a woo, and with an exclamation point, and back at you, my friend. Jeff, as a longtime Kansas City friend since, Len Dawson, that's way back, was our quarterback. I, for one, can say your team got an unfair shake last game. I believe we still would have won, but I do not like the manner in which victory was had. I can't say I've got a ton of that, Jeff, but there have been some Kansas City fans in some of the videos this week that have pointed that out. They think they would have won, but they don't like the fact there's basically an asterisk next to the game. I can only say this as a coach and somebody who's been around for a while. I'd rather just the players on the field and the coaches on the sidelines determine the games. Nothing about, speculation, drama about, what the NFL did or didn't do, all that stuff. It really takes away from the product on the field, in my opinion. Dean, I'm just glad for non-drama news. Hey, you got some of that today. Marcus, here we go again with some exclamation points. Good to see you, my friend. Kurt Seal, TA baby, with an exclamation point. Yes, now, will he play? We're going to have to wait and see. But, the fact that him and Decker are on the field, that's a good sign. Paperback fan, woo, let's freaking go. I like the way you're thinking. Version of the mean. The awesome TA is needed ASAP. Yeah, again, you don't know what you got until he's gone. The fact that, how we've looked when he's not been out there, it's a big difference. Nathan, holy cow, exclamation point, finally made a live show. Hey, it has been a hot second, hasn't it? I am in Arizona, so 3 hours behind you. I watch every show every day and love it. Exclamation point, go Lions. Good to see you, my friend. And it has been a hot second. Still love the thumbnail, by the way. Marcus, is Mike Evans playing? I know in yesterday's practice, I haven't checked on the practice report today, but yesterday he was on the field, non-padded up, all that stuff. I would say, Marcus, he's probably 50-50. Let's see, Karen Porter, where you got them. God bless. May God bless and keep them healthy and without any more injuries. Sweet, blessed victory win against any NFL teams. Yeah, let's go get the wins where we can get them. And thank you for being in the comment section. Kyle, highly doubt TA plays. Tampa has no starting wide receiver, so we should let him heal and play chess with our backup secondary. Maybe that's what we should do, man. And again, there's no wrong answers here. We'll see what they choose to do. Egon and Jeff, appreciate the kind words. Hope to see you guys in the big one. And I think that is what more and more people want to do. 9 drinks. Decker is huge surprise. Yeah, if he gets out there, again, I can understand why the staff would keep them both sidelined for a little while. But if they play him, we'll see. Bucks, Rays, Bolts, it should be a good game. I think we're all, whatever fan base you're with, everybody's looking at this game and saying, it'll be 2 very good teams going against each other. A Bucks fan should good one. There you go. Atlanta, I'd rather take TA back with penalties than these other guys giving up touchdowns. And that's probably what most of the fan base is saying now. 9 drinks. Aleem is ready. Let's go. Yes, he will be back. There's no question about that. MCDC and the coaching staff have announced that. Jimmy, money time. Let's go with it. Bucks, Rays, Bolts. Evans should have big game. We'll see if he does. Michael D, thanks, coach. Great news. Exclamation point, 1 pride. We'll see you next time, my friend. Kyle, practice doesn't mean playing games. That is correct. It just means he's on his way back. Yeah, he's inching his way back now. Will he play? We'll have to wait and see Monday night. Broski, what up, Bucks, Rays, Bolts? What up, ball, last wins? I'll go with that. Melissa and Fisher, I hope they don't rush TA back. No, if they feel like he needs time, they're not going to rush him back. Let's see. This is a big game for the NFC. Correct with that. No doubt about that. You have to rush him back for the big game. Maybe they do. He did not practice. It was a maintenance thing for him. Maybe. Yeah. And Mike Evans, he's a veteran enough where probably doesn't need a lot of reps, sort of like Taylor Decker. If he's good to go, he'll play Monday night for him. Correct. Rob Hawk, I hope Decker is back. That would be nice. Melissa and Fisher, let's see, right there with you. Nathan Tibble, exclamation point, love it when I can make it to this awesome live show. Hey, anytime you guys want to, you're welcome on in. Famous RW, just saw the crew from KC game has been suspended. I did not see that. I'll have to check that out. So thank you for that heads up. T-Bone Lokes, one of the members. And by the way, members-only content will begin next week. Not going to be a ton of it. We're going to itch it along for sure. And thanks for being a member, T-Bones. Inspired hope to change lives. Lions by a million. Exclamation point. Woo! I would take that. Let's see. Karen, praying for the Detroit Lions, exclamation point. I definitely been true, loyal, dedicated, diehard Detroit Lions fan since my teenage years. Well, hey, let's keep that going. Melissa and Fisher, hit the like button, hit all the buttons, hit the like, subscribe, all the above. All right, guys, I'll go ahead and get on out of here. If there is more breaking news today, I'll get it over to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, take care, enjoy your day, do something kind for somebody you don't know. We'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.